Hello, welcome to Healing with Ketamine. I am your host, Dr. Cassius Drake. It's my pleasure to be with you today to discuss our work at the Drake Center and to explain our paradigm of healing and the many techniques that we use to support spiritual growth, emotional growth, mental well-being, healing, and everything it takes to be complete and whole human being. Today I have my partner with me, Jacquline Drake, my partner of 25 years in this work, in life and healing. And she's going to share with us today some fascinating insights about an exciting cutting-edge technology that we use at the Drake Center in addition to our other treatments to support growth and change and transformation. And one of those things we use is virtual reality and immersive therapies. And Jacqueline, we know that you have made yourself quite an expert on this and are a fountain of knowledge in this area and have used it at depth in your own life. And you're going to tell us about your journey with VR, and then hopefully time allowing, we'll have some time to actually demonstrate some of this amazing technology and let you see what can actually happen. So Jacqueline, as always, pleasure to be here in this space again. So why don't you begin by telling us, how did you find your way to VR?
Well, it started a long time ago, actually, a lot longer than the Drake Center. And it started, 2017, 2018. I've always used meditation as part of my art therapy. And knowing that there was different devices and different immersive things that you could use for that, I had always in the back of my mind thought, well, wouldn't that be incredible to be inside of a meditation? And then my art. And so the immersives and using this kind of technology kind of came hand in hand with what I was already doing at the gallery. And in the gallery, I was teaching a lot of meditation classes. And so I would bring a device in and show people, and like, here, people with, different issues or whatever may not be able to sit still long enough for a real meditation. And so I would demonstrate with them different ways to create even, and it was incredible, and people really enjoyed it. And it was still really new back then. And so in 2020, when I closed the art gallery, that's when I realized I wasn't in the right headspace. I think you remember quite well.
Yeah.
But
you had an art gallery that you closed, so tell us about that.
Yeah, so I had my Healing Arts Center I had in Franklin for several years. It was an incredible space. It was a space that people came to heal using creativity. I have always used art to create and to heal from. No matter what part of my life I was going through, I was always sketching or doodling. So the art part of the healing was always there. Meditation is just part of me. I feel like I've been doing meditation since I was a little girl, but so to be able to use different things and to show people different things at the gallery was really important. And because I used it for wellness for people. I've always thought of this technology as an incredible cognitive behavioral device, really, because you can do so many things in it for your own mental health. And when I closed my art gallery in 2020, it was because of the pandemic. It was because of other things as well, and a lot of things kind of compounded that decision to close. And as you know, I became very, very sad, and that was not like me to be in that kind of really depressed state. And at the time, there was other factors going on in the world, as well as COVID. Schools were shutting down. Everything was kind of looking kind of bleak at that point of my life. And literally stuck inside my house, right? And I had some tools. I had some major tools. I had my own meditation stuff. I had art supplies, but I also had a device that I could probably do a little bit more in. And because I was still trying to reach my patients also, I was trying to use that device to be able to create with them. as well. And so using it for my own self is kind of when I decided to kind of do, and I called it my mind, body, creative spirit reboot,
Yes.
actually, because it had a lot to do with the mind. In fact, it was all about the mind. The body, in this case, literally just kind of came along for the ride. I would use the device for meditation, and knowing what it could do for that, being immersed inside of a meditation is a lot different than being guided or even listening to an app. It is completely a different headspace, literally, being able to be inside of a meditation. And what that does to your mind, different sensories obviously are in it, so it does all sorts of incredible things. And for me, I found I was using that just for my own mental state, and that's when I stumbled upon VR Fitness, to be honest. I was using it for my art. I was using it for my own meditation, using it for creating in it. Also, with that creating, my own art kind of changed, diving deeper into technology with it. And I literally built a platform that my own art is now housed in, which is it's absolutely incredible. And maybe we have some time we can show that as well.
Sure, we'll look at that.
But for me, my whole journey started using this technology because I knew what it could do for my mind. And I knew body-wise, I wasn't going to do anything for my body if I didn't get my mind right. Mm-hmm. And it's been incredible because now I'm able to help our patients in a different way. You know, they may come to us for mental health stuff, but once they start feeling better in their mind, then I'm able to give them other tools, other practices to use. And especially for the patients that may have a harder time meditating or even sitting still, there's some really cool apps, programs, and all sorts of things in this that are incredible for it.
Right.
Mind and body, and I have to say creative spirit too. And so I really utilized this device during my own transformation when I didn't have any other options, when the world looked really bleak.
So tell us about your transformation. What transformed in you, and how did you use VR to support that?
Well, you know, in my whole transformation, when I look at it now, 3 years later, actually 3.5 years now, and I've kept all the weight off because I still continue to practice.
You lost some weight.
Oh, there's a little bit of a weight issue. And like I said, I never went into this going, I'm going to use VR and lose weight. It never was about that. And I kind of chuckle to people that are going into it now with that because it's so much more. It's so much more for your mind. And like I said, the body just kind of comes along. And in my case, I believe I lost 89 pounds total. So almost, maybe even over 90 now, over the last 3 years.
Yes.
And the weight came off so easily because I was having fun when I was working out. I wasn't doing it I'm going to do it to work on my arms or my legs or even my abs. It was nothing about that. It was strictly for my mental state and how does this make me feel. So I looked for programs during that time also that were geared more on the mind and body connection, because I knew that's really what this incredible technology could do, and being able to utilize that, and that's the transformation. It was incredible. There's no other words for it.
So you didn't have only a physical weight loss that you found that VR could support you with some fitness apps, but you also did some other transformation on an emotional and a mental level that this supported you also. And I remember there was a moment in which you decided you had to make a change, right? And then you decided to make a change inside and out.
Yeah, and my story is pretty documented out there. So I've been on other shows about it, and also I have a YouTube channel that I've documented a lot of the actual journey on. But it started with a mental state. I do a lot of time lapse for a lot of my bigger paintings, and when I slowed that footage down to put together a little film of the making of a painting, I didn't recognize myself in that video, and that hurt. That really hurt me. I slowed it down, and I'm actually going to tear up. I didn't recognize who that person had become, and I didn't really like her anymore. So
you decided to make a change.
Yeah.
And VR
like I said,
supported you in doing that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind and body and creative spirit. So for me, it's been life-changing, I would say.
So what else did you find within the VR? So you found the meditation and the fitness and the creativity. What else did you find there?
Gosh, there's so much. There's one for me. There's a lot of connection with people. The groups that I would kind of work out with, or whatever you want to call it, meet up with in the headset. Mind you, this was a time when nobody was meeting up. And here I am meeting up with people around the globe, new to this technology that knew, and these people knew what the technology did. And to find a group of people that were using it for that reason, using it for the wellness side of what virtual reality can do, that was an eye-opening thing, to have those kind of connections and friendships now. I will say they're really good friends. And we still share each other all sorts of different apps that are coming out and beta testing and stuff. And we've really built up a friendship that is interesting because we've never all met in person. But we could hug each other in virtual reality. So when I talk about presence and even being in present moment, there's a lot that the device can actually do. And that's kind of where my focus is when I talk with our patients about it, is more about what it does with our mindset, obviously. Being in virtual reality is an incredible way to become present. And I know that sounds totally counterintuitive of what most people look at that and go, oh my God, you're an escaper, you're escaping, and the stigmas even around it. And I have to be honest, virtual reality for therapy has been around way longer than the gamers got a hold of it, right? So I'm grateful that everybody can have one now and it's available. But it's been around for a long time, and it's been around for using it for different modes of behavioral, cognitive behavioral training. So it's incredible.
So you found a community?
I found a community. I found connection,
support
art.
For your physical well-being, for your mental well-being, for your creative spirit.
Creative spirit,
all
definitely.
of this embodied in a device where you didn't have to leave your home and could do all this from the comfort of your home and then really change your life at depth.
Yeah.
And now you've brought this work to our work at the Drake Center. And how do we use this with our patients?
And with our patients, it's been really wonderful to be able to show them obviously different ways to meditate. And then once patients start to feel better in their mind, they do come to me as a life coach and say, what can you help me with physically? And I'm more than happy to help them and get them set up or whatever else they need to start feeling better in their body, because it really is this mind-body connection, right? And I've always thought, the creative spirit part too. There's lots of creativity in the headset as well. So there's a lot.
And in our work at the Drake Center, where we do ketamine-assisted therapy and psychedelic treatments, how do we use it to support? How does it support that experience?
So once again, it really, going back to being the present moment and how the meditation actually works in there, it literally makes you present, right? When you're immersed in any sort of situation, you are in present moment. You are completely, all of your thoughts, your future thoughts, your past thoughts, they're just right here, and you become present. And that is the interesting thing about VR, is that, and the counterintuitive part is it literally is like you're not escaping, you're actually becoming more and more present in the moment. And so for our patients, when they come in, sometimes they're a little bit, we haven't seen them in a week or two, and they need a little bit of centering before we go within their own mind space and really do some deep healing that way, right? Because if you're not out of the frazzled state of mind and not centered and really fully present, and so we find that using this for centering purposes, using it for, there's even pain relief in there. There's all sorts of different ways that we use it. I use it obviously with creativity as well, but majority of our patients, we use it for meditation, and they really, really enjoy it. It is incredible to be immersed inside of a meditation.
It's actually a part of their treatment. The day that when they have we use this as a settling and centering exercise before them, so that they're very prepared before they go into that treatment. And you've told me about other uses and other applications for burn patients or pain and,
And I'm actually really excited because there's a lot of hospitals now using it. There's a lot of children's hospitals using it because they found that when you are immersed in these type of situations, either in realism type visuals or even computer animated or computer generated visuals, you are somewhere else. You go somewhere else. And so there's many studies done with OBGYNs. There's many studies done. Actually, you would appreciate some of these were done in the ER because in emergency rooms, they were finding that the patients were coming in similar things all the time. And one of those cases, you can't figure out what the belly pain is. And every test has been done, but my goodness, their stomach still hurt. And so they found that if they place the patient even into a different environment, mentally moving them into a different space, suddenly their pain isn't there. Suddenly they're able to just, center their stomach and just be calmer. And that, with the psychosomatic aspects of it, right, has a lot to do with it. So I'm excited to see more and more hospitals, more and more even VA hospitals using it. I'm excited to see the technology being really used for what it can do. The other part to being in there, being immersed in it, is pain management.
Right, yes.
And you were talking about the burn patients. That is an incredible study that was done. Imagine a burn patient, right? It's the most painful thing to have their dressings changed, to be debrided and everything else that needs to be done. And it has to be done multiple times a day sometimes. So they found that when they put a headset on a patient and immerse them in a snowy scene, right? Like on top of a mountaintop or just in this cold environment, they found that the patient actually felt that, felt cold. They were able to literally change the dressings without any pain management care. And
so they felt like they were in a different place. They felt like they were in a cold, snowy place. And emotionally, mentally, that changed their relationship with that pain.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
And it's very powerful. And once again, it's just how powerful our minds are, right? Yes. And what we put into that space is just as powerful, meaning how close we put it in. And that's why I really, with all of our patients, I really kind of give them I have a list of different apps that I really approve of, I call it, and the Drake Center approval. But it literally, because there's a lot of stuff that you don't want to put in your headspace that close up as well. True. So there is that. I call it the dark side of the VR web, but there is an incredible side, though, that is for wellness. And if you have a device, I would tell any person listening to this right now, especially now with the way the world is, and it's getting weird, right? I can honestly say that there was a place in my life when the world got dark. The world around me got dark and angry. And to find a space like that, a place where I could literally work out my angst, right? And punch or box or swing bats or do whatever I needed to do, or sit on top of a mountaintop and just get some centering. To be able to do that in this day and age, we'd be silly not to be able to take advantage of this technology right now. And so I would highly encourage every person, and reach out to me. I'm out there. Please reach out to me if you're even interested in it, because it is a world of wellness that changed my life dramatically in so many incredible ways that I can honestly say I knew going into VR that that's what I could possibly do with it. I have a lot of videos about this, but it's a powerful device. It really is. And it's only getting cooler, is what I keep saying, because different apps and stuff open up different technologies, right? We have several different headsets here that are different and leveled up in technology even. So there's a lot to it. So
thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that and for bringing this powerful treatment modality and mode of healing to our work and our patients. It's been a profound benefit to them, and it's been an honor and an inspiration to me to witness your transformation through this, which even brought me to get more fit and
And you
to
are.
get into
Look at you.
VR, and so that creates ripples around you, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So thank you for sharing all of that.
I will say there was a time in the beginning of my workouts, that there was a little stigma around it, and people didn't believe it until they saw it. And now it's similar to what you just said. Even in the beginning, you're like, what is she doing in there?
Well, the proof is in the pudding, and the results speak for themselves, both in your inner and outer transformation and glow, and it's quite beautiful to see. So, so we'd like to demonstrate, if we can get this technology to work, some of the capabilities of this device, and if you could, while I get this on, if you could tell people what they're looking at here.
Yeah, for sure.
And what this device is.
Yeah. So some of the technology has really, I call it leveled up, but it's pretty incredible. In fact, the headset he has on is the Quest Pro, and the amount of feedback that some of these devices can offer, and especially if you know how it works and can read some of this stuff, it's pretty incredible to get direct feedback, especially when you're teaching people belly breath work or even any sort of physical exertion stuff. You can get direct feedback by.
So I have the headset on now, and we're going to demonstrate a app that you recommended that you use for meditation. So why don't you tell the people what we're seeing right now, Jacqueline?
Yeah, so this is actually one of the newer app that it's still kind of it's still very new, but it's really the technology in this that I really love for lower belly breath breathing, and because it really does give you the exact feedback. With all of this, the haptics and the feedback are incredible for this kind of work, for whatever you're doing, for physical work, but also, and so if go ahead and put your controllers, I think it's your left controller, on your belly, and then go into, this one is incredible for this. And so when I'm working with a patient, let's say for some deeper belly breaths work, or if they just want to work on it on their own, if they have a headset, they're able to do this incredible thing. And as he's breathing, literally he has the controller on his lower belly, and he's actually taking breaths and controlling some of the visuals that you see in there.
So yes, I'm actually seeing my breath when I breathe out.
Yeah.
I can see and feel the air come in.
And this is just a guided meditation inside that will start. And it's usually on mindfulness or centering yourself. There's many, many different meditations now in virtual reality, but this one
so how
is
would
incredible
someone use
for
this?
This is really good if you're suffering. Let's say you're just in a anxious state. This is perfect for anxiety. I have some other ones that I love to use for depression, but this one is incredible for anxiety because it really slows down your breathing. You're able to actually see your breath work. You're able to actually control yourself in this. And so no matter which ones you can choose, you can really customize what you need in the moment because each one of us needs something different, right? There'll be some evenings I'll tell my patients to, try this in the evening, before you go to bed. Or, maybe sit in a meditation, especially for the patients that, have struggled with it. I struggle, we all struggle with it, right? Keeping our attention and our focus. This is just another tool to use for wellness, really. And it's pretty incredible, right?
This is a pretty incredible scene. I actually feel my body relaxing. I get with the breaths and the feedback. It really helps get out of that fight or flight and activate that parasympathetic tone, decrease your muscle tension, lower blood pressure.
Yep.
And only a few breaths by taking yourself out of that space. Very powerful.
Yeah. And it's really powerful for, when we're feeling anxious. I think, to be able to use any of this technology, for really what it can be for,
Wonderful.
There's so much wellness in it. Personal wellness is kind of what I want to call it, because this is stuff that you would just do on your own, from your own house. And it's not, this is the meditation apps are really not community type. They're more for inner wellness, right?
Okay. And so you've also used it, in addition to meditation, you use it for creative purposes as well?
Yes, creative purposes a lot. There's a lot of apps that I use that sometimes I'll have my patients paint with me in them, actually. There's some that they've gone multiplayer, right? So I'm able to, and this is the incredible thing, when our patients get to do this with me, they love it. But I will put a headset on and then put them into a headset, and we both drop into a virtual state as avatars, if you want to call it avatars, and we're creating virtually in a 3D space. What he's pulling up right now is actually a virtual space. When I closed my art gallery in 2020, a lot of my work, I decided to digitize, and there was a lot of places, and how really do you show your digitized work, right? Mm-hmm. Other than a digital space, meaning Facebook or whatever, a digital device, right? And so a lot of my art went digital because I started pixel animation, and this space is what houses all of that now. Okay, and so it literally is a virtual gallery.
What are we looking at?
In the gallery that you're in right now is part of my metaverse gallery, and it's called Spatial. This is a gallery, actually I have 3 spaces in Spatial. I have a mindful meeting space that is art as well, but it looks a little different than this space, but it's a place where you can go just and sit and be calm. And this space is also meant for that. This is the journey of Morphe, actually, you are in. And this is a children's book that I wrote about mindfulness and meditation. And these are the pages of the book that are now animated within this space, this digital space.
You can walk around and look at the images as if you're in an actual art gallery.
Yeah. And these paintings are really big. If you were to stand up right now, I'm sure they would be they're about 12 feet tall, I think, inside there. The interesting thing about this particular gallery is that you're able to enter it also on different devices. Yeah, there you go. So that all of the work in there is digitized and it's moving. If you, of course, see the real book, it's just paper of these images. And it's just a space that is calming. It's a beautiful space. And this happens to be a children's book that I wrote a long time ago. About a little caterpillar, actually. Right. And his name is Morphe, and he goes on an incredible mindful journey. And throughout his journey, he comes across different things and uses some really incredible tools. And I think that's actually one of my favorite paintings in it, is the one with the bubble. That
you
one.
Want to show the mindful meeting space?
Yeah, go ahead and click on that.
So this is something else that you've created in this space?
Yeah, there's 3 spaces.
So there's also the possibility to create meeting spaces where people could gather.
Yeah, and I meet a lot of our patients.
And this is
friends
a place where you can meet patients for group meditations, or and it's a virtual space to.
It takes a few seconds to load, I think, because we have so many different devices working on it right now. There you go. That actually, see, something like that, that's actually a painting that I would have done in real life on canvas. And a lot of times with this particular program, I can actually 3D scan some of my real work and then actually place them in here. Yeah. So it becomes really incredible. I love the energy in this space that you've created. So even within a virtual space, someone can come and sit and meditate amongst the art, looks out. They could be sitting in their living room or their garage or their basement, and they can put this headset on, and a group could meet here and discuss art and healing and from all around the world. So lots of amazing possibilities for creativity, for healing, for there's
group
a lot.
work. And many amazing capabilities with this amazing technology. Thank you for sharing all this with us today.
It's pretty incredible stuff.
And on your journey with virtual reality and immersive therapies, what's been the most surprising thing for you?
There's a lot of been surprises actually along the way. a couple surprising ones were the connection that I had with all my new VR friends, I call them. I wasn't expecting that. When I went into it, I was in a really depressed state. And did I know that other people were even trying to use it like this? And to find communities, in several communities now, where people actually use it for that. And it's been incredible. So I wasn't expecting connection when I was looking at that. That was the farthest thing actually from it. And I've made incredible connections, and it's like you and I sitting across the table. There's been amazing things also of different age groups that I've put people in that really were, made me just kind of tear up, because imagine like when I put my 98-year-old grandma into, I mean, she's almost 100 years old, and I said, I put her in a little spinny chair, in the middle of the family room, and put her inside of a coloring book. And she was able to just point and click, and I remember her face was just like, I can't believe I'm in this. and to be 100 years old to see that kind of technology was pretty amazing. So this is for all ages and disabilities, and I think that's where a lot of people are like, oh no, I have this or I have this. And the reality is, and you might remember this, is when I broke my back. So for disability purposes and for different levels of healing, there's a lot of pain relief in it as well. There's a lot of hypnotherapy that I've used for that. But there's a lot that was surprising in it. Sure. A lot that I was not expecting when I went into it. And yet alone, all of this, that it can really help a lot of people.
It's really amazing. And it's been quite a privilege to watch your journey with it and see you grow and to become in your knowledge and a certified expert in the area. We're blessed to have your expertise and your patience with this work and their journeys of transformation with us. So thank you for sharing your journey and for being you, and for sharing this amazing technology. And that's going to wrap up our session for today. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again on Healing with Ketamine as we continue to discuss our work with transformation and healing and growth and everything that it takes to be a whole, happy, and whole human being. Thank you. We'll see you next time.